Hi, everyone. I don't exactly know how many we are expecting in this breakout room, but I suppose Paula is here for that.
Yes, we're
Great, thank you.
supposed to be 17, but either way, we could already start since it's recorded. So, hello everyone. I am Paula, the previous CDC head and now the head of Pre-Cough Subcommission, and welcome to the first breakout room session that is all about scheduling and task sharing. So once again, our goal is to improve collaborative work through competent group leadership, especially in terms of task sharing. So after just 40 minutes, we will present the outcomes in the plenary session. So without further ado, I would introduce our speaker for today, which is Alina Lehikoinen, who is the outgoing IFSA president and current head of the FAO subcommission. She holds a bachelor degree in forest sciences from the University of Helsinki with a specialization in tropical forestry and agroforestry, and she is starting her graduate studies in international forestry at the University of Freiburg. So outside IFSA, she is accomplished in entrepreneurship, having set up and ran her own successful local business in the forestry field. So once again, I am happy to introduce our breakout room speaker, Alina. The virtual floor is now yours.
Thank you, Paula. It feels weirdly formal. I hope we can have, because we have met with all, if not most, if not all of you. So let's just keep this pretty casual after this, but thank you for the introduction anyway. I'm gonna have a little presentation for like 5 to 10 minutes. And after that, we're gonna spend the rest of the 40 minutes discussing and doing whatever else was planned, but just a little getting to know what this is actually about. So yeah, as said, I'm gonna be talking about the importance of sharing work and how to delegate and tools for collaboration and scheduling. And these are very like leadership kind of qualities or skills. And even though these are mostly or like the most important for heads of commissions who will have to do that for the whole 12 months, anyone can end up leading a task force or a project. So this is relevant to all of you too, I think. So the importance of sharing work is that, well, it's more motivating and more fun to work in a functional team. And it is also a skill that is needed for most jobs. So learning it already during your studies, during your volunteer work, gives you a great head start for like professional life. Also, you get like in diverse teams, you have people with different skill sets. So of course, like it is very clear that sometimes you need to ask for help from like the design subcommission or something, but like all of these skills are like both like communication skills, but also like these different specific, maybe we need someone who speaks Spanish, or like there is like just a whole world of like different people in IFSA whose skill sets complement each other. Then also empowering and providing team members with learning opportunities. So also everyone in IFSA are like, well, you get to know more people, and you get to, because we want to be here for each other, and we want to like be here for each other and also encourage each other to learn more. And then very importantly, if you start a big project, they simply cannot be done by one person. You will need help. And we all have a limited capacity here. We're not doing this 40 hours a week for a job. We're not getting paid. We have university studies. Shimon already mentioned this. But yes, that is very important to remember. Don't work yourself to death. Get help from other people. It's more fun. And then how to actually delegate. So there are like projects of different sizes and like different focuses of different specificity, and usually bigger and more general ones are actually easier to delegate. But it is also important to consider like those smaller and more specific projects, like who can take part and how to share it. Also, I think Shimon actually had great points to that in the beginning, as to someone can take the lead and just suggest something that should work, or that should be a good starting point at least. Then yes, encourage other people to take responsibilities. Don't force, even like don't take too much of a leadership role. Don't start telling people you do this, you do this, you do this. It's the, hey, what about how we do this? Would you like to do this? Usually the answer is somewhere around yes, or maybe, or even I don't have time, but you get an answer. Just don't say like you're doing this or you're gonna cry and do this. Don't keep all the work to yourself, even if no volunteers are easily found. Then you would rather maybe consider reevaluating the timeline or even simplifying the whole project. There can be found commissioners, people who are not officials. You can talk to your head of commission or a board member, but don't bite too big of a piece for yourself. Other solutions can be found. Tools for collaboration. First, Jamboard. We're getting to know that today too. Great, it's fun. It's a very collaborative tool, but I'm not going to say much more about that because most of you probably have used it, and if not, soon you will have used it. Then Google Workspace, that hopefully you all know and have been mentioned too many times to the point where you're getting annoyed with it, but it's super important, especially for this kind of collaborative work. Drive, absolutely. Everything should be found in the shared drive, not in your personal drive. This helps the current project that you're working on, as well as any future IFSA people who are looking for information about that project. Docs, yeah, that's probably will be needed. Very nice. The suggestion mode is also pretty good for like collaborating. Google Chat, also familiar to all of you, probably by now, and everything else that can be found in the Google Workspace. Not necessary to list everything. Different projects need different tools there. Then Mentimeter, that goes for big teams mostly, I would say. If you're doing like work with just 3 people or something, it doesn't make sense to make a whole Mentimeter presentation to find out about their opinions. You can just ask what they think, but it's still, we have access to it in IFSA and it's fun and interesting. And then Discord, that is a very nice way, a very good way to do some team building, to work together. When last year in the board, we had to do the Erasmus application and Erasmus report, which were like weeks of work, a lot of late nights. We did that all together on Discord. We got to know each other better. The workflow was easier. So you can either just be on the general IFSA voice channels, or you can also even ask the people upkeeping the Discord to give you a special like private channel for your team. Scheduling, also super important. Create a poll to find a time using zcal.co. You probably also might know other similar applications. They also work, but I would recommend this. It works the best usually, and it is widely used in IFSA, so I would recommend trying Zcal. Then give people enough time to reply to the poll. that would be 4 to 7 days. So you cannot expect people to be available around the clock. If you say ask them to fill it today, you really have to give them time. Then schedule the meeting also at least 4 days beforehand, which would mean that because you have to have at least 4 days to reply, and then 4 days beforehand, you need at least 8 days to set up a meeting. If it's like very urgent, something is pressing time-wise, you can probably work around that. Send them an email, send them a message on Google Chat, and tell them that something urgent is coming up. And then you can't expect everyone to maybe show up, but you can have a more urgent meeting. And yes, send a Google Calendar invite with a meeting link. Those meeting links should be automatic nowadays, but still a good thing to remember. And any relevant attachments, for example, an agenda. And if you are very few people in your team, maximum 4, including yourself, I would say a cycle and 8 days might not be needed, but in general, as a rule of thumb, make sure you have enough time so that nobody has to be excluded. Oh, yes, and use the same language, so to say. We use the UTC system in IFSA. It should be easy enough. You just need to learn what is your time zone in UTC time, because otherwise there are so many different abbreviations for like CEST, EET, and like a million different 3 and 4 letter combinations, and you never know what they actually mean. And then team diversity and tolerance. Some things that can create can make it more difficult to work together, or like don't make meetings go very well, can be, for example, time zones, internet connection, and accents. So even if you manage to set up, time zones make it harder to set up meetings especially if you have like people in 3 areas that are usually secluded in, like there are the Americas, then there's Europe and Africa, and then there's Asia. So if you have team members in all these, it might be more difficult to set up a meeting, but don't exclude people just because of these reasons. Also, internet connection not equally great everywhere, and accents. We have a lot of people with varying English skills in IFSA and many different accents, and you just have to learn to ask them to repeat themselves, or maybe even if there is like a communication problem, like typing helps. We have Google Chat, we have a chat on Zoom and Google Meet, and we have email. So we should be able to work around that. And really, these people that you might not understand at first very well, I mean, probably I've been there, but they can turn out to be like the best people you ever work with. And yeah, in the end, a more diverse team usually results in more diverse and better ideas. So that's a thing to keep in mind. And make sure that everyone has a chance to speak or express their opinion in a different way. Everyone in IFSA is equal and should be treated as such, regardless of their position, level of studies, IFSA experience, English skills, or any other factor. So appreciate everyone, give everyone a chance. Then I wasn't sure if I should because I don't exactly want to explain about the possible issues. I don't want to scare anyone on anything. I just thought that this might be like discussion points for the Jamboard or something. I don't exactly know, Paula, maybe how the Jamboard, like what are the plans for that, but like I'll have these ready or something if needed. Otherwise, thank you for bearing with me. I think it took a bit more than 5 minutes. I hope it wasn't too long and you're still awake.
Very much still alive. So with the Jamboard, it's up to us. It's up to you, Alina. If I have also a Jamboard prepared, so we can share through that. So
yeah, go ahead. You can share your Jamboard and I'll pepper these questions or ideas in when needed.
Okay, I have already shared the link for the Jamboard. Maybe I could also present my screen for those who are having difficulty trying to get in there. And maybe if you're having difficulty, you can just chat or open your mic and let's talk. I will be the one to add it there. So go ahead, Alina.
Yes, let me check. Just let me see what you had on the Jamboard. Oh, there's no like template here or anything. Okay. And let me find the right tab. Yeah, so I was thinking we could maybe talk about possible issues after this, now that you maybe have like a general idea how to work in a team, how to lead a team, but approach it through what might be problems there. And the first thing I had there is, what if you find no motivated collaborators, but you have like a very nice idea for a project you want to do, and you maybe even find some people who express interest, but actually it's more like, I have ideas, but I don't want to do anything for this. So what would you do there if you had a difficulty finding no motivated collaborators?
So just to clarify, we would add our answers to this Jamboard.
Yes, this might be, yes, if you like, it seems that there is like nothing on the Jamboard, or like if you had any idea for that. So I was thinking maybe we can write the questions or the ideas there and then add notes around that. So that also a fun way to get familiar with this tool. But also please speak up in addition to adding your notes. I can actually write all of them there at the same time, but also go ahead and unmute yourself.
Maybe just to like give an example for no motivated collaborators. In my experience, it was really hard since it was my first year of being an IFSA official. So it was hard to communicate with other people, but to keep everyone motivated, you need to be friends with most of them. You need to be comfortable to talk to them, to chat them, to bother, annoy them. That's why I think a great way to avoid this is to become friends with whoever you're working with first and get comfortable first before doing anything else. That's what I've learned from my past position.
Maybe you can add a sticky note for that to get started. But yeah, I can also say that that's a nice idea, a good idea to have, like, to actually enjoy working with the people you're working with. There is another note I see: make networks and connections so that you will know who to contact for your idea. Nice idea. But if you would like to elaborate a little.
Yeah, hi Alina, can you hear me?
Yeah, hi.
I wrote that note. So what I meant is that if you have an idea, say for example, something related to social forestry, if you already know someone from that background, it will be easier for you to find collaborators. Like, even though he or she may not be willing to do it, but he or she can direct someone or give contact for someone who is willing. So that is a good way to, like, meet people, and then you can give your ideas or give your plans for collaboration, and then they can get back to you, or they will either find somebody else who is willing to do the works with you.
Yeah, I think it's a nice idea. Like, keep your options open and, like, have a broad view of like possible collaborators, and like and even, like, there are people you may not know who will be the best team for you actually, and you might find them through that network. So even if, like, the current people in your commission or whatever don't seem to be excited about the project, you can find people elsewhere. I'm seeing notes through Paula sharing, but for some reason they are not updating for my. Okay, now I can see them. One more note. What I do is I ask how they are doing so that I can pinpoint why they are not motivated to do the work. From there, I adjust the work to make it enjoyable for them. Okay, that's a really nice idea. Who wrote that wants to elaborate a little bit? I would be very interested in hearing more, because that sounds very useful.
Hello. So I was the one who put that input. So hello everybody. I am Lau. So currently I am not only holding a position in IFSA, but I'm also holding a position in my LC. And given that we are more than a year into online learning, I can feel the burnout from my members or committee mates. So what I usually do is try to ensure that the work that I'm giving to them is not very heavy, or at least it's even though the task is just a little, I make sure that it's very collaborative so that they would not feel the pressure of doing it alone. And also when it comes to what do you call this, asking them, we have this sort of routine before we start the meeting. We call it kamustahan. The kamustahan part of the meeting is where you rant somehow about how your week went, how your academics is going, or just basically tell your victories and struggles for the week. And then from there we can help each other relieve the stress. And then from there, um, we take action in whatever way we can do, just to ensure that that person do not feel burnout by doing work, since again this is what Simon said, a volunteer work, so that they would still be motivated to do it in the future. That, I hope I explained my idea well.
Yeah, I understood it. At least I think that sounds very nice. Oh my god, my jumper is doing something weird again. But yes, that does sound very nice. Motivate people with and make sure that they are not burned out. So there are ways to even motivate the less motivated people. And I see we have gotten some notes on the next points too. So I suppose we can at least somewhat move on to disagreeing about project specifics, what to do, how to solve those kinds of problems. Finding common interest and focusing on that point. Yes, a nice idea. Want to elaborate?
Hi, actually, I wrote the point. I think when we are disagreeing on a certain point or something, first of all, we have to find to the collaborator what we are thinking about and what the common interest on. So initially, we have to focus on the common interest so that they gain interest to the project. And then we have to proceed to the point they are disagreeing. And in case we got the good point that the reason behind their disagreement, it's fine. But if the reasons are not that ethical or not that strong, then we have to explain our point why we are trying to make those point or why those objectives are important. So I think discussion is very important point of such a disagreeing conversation. So I hope I have explained properly.
Yes, thank you. It is like, it's a very good point. Like usually people are there in the project for some reason, they are interested in something, so there should be something to tie the interest and people in the project together. And then communicate directly and immediately with the team to put everyone on the same foundation again. Yes, was this whose?
Hello, so it's actually mine. This is actually based on personal experience, but not in IFSA, but my LC. We once held a project where suddenly we have this disagreeing about project specific, whether we have to do it for the external or just the internals. But then we decided to communicate directly with the team and then asking, basically like discussing the capabilities of each other, and then if we can do it for the externals, the pros and cons and all that. So basically just to get everyone on the same foundation again. So I don't know if I have explained this correctly, but yeah.
No, yeah, that's great. And I'm very happy that you actually draw from experiences beyond IFSA, or like even if it's your LC, but beyond what is like the current job, because most of you here are first year officials. So definitely any experiences about teamwork and projects that you have worked on are very much welcome. And then meet in the middle with the discussions and get opinions from other people, both from Paula. Do you want to say something about this?
Yeah, especially for my experience with CDC, we have like lots of opinions from different people from different backgrounds, which is good. But usually our meeting point is we should ask the board if they agree with this or what are their opinions. And from there, we would be enlightened. So it helps a lot to consult with other people that is outside your circle.
Yes, yes, the board is really here for you, even though I'm not a board member anymore. There is like always, like you can go back to them, you can ask them for help. Like I don't know how to speak about the board anymore, but like we want to see IFSA go forward, and we are very excited about like all of these projects that you come up with, and to get to like even if they like come up, like even if there are some problems, they can be overcome together, and the board is there for you. Then what is the my Jamboard is being weird again. Can someone read the orange? No, wait, I got it now.
Okay. Okay.
I practice collaborative and joint leadership because I don't want my collaborators to not feel heard. I like this point. Whose is this?
Hello, it's mine. So, based from my experience, and again, since I do not only hold one position, I am currently holding four. So I really need to ensure that my ideas are being heard, and also my collaborators' ideas are being heard. Since again, I'm not the only one working in my committee, and I'm not tasked to just give them work, but rather I am also tasked to hear their ideas. Since we cannot say maybe that one spark of idea would be the something that would be utilized by IFSA for further events, right? So I really like practicing collaborative and joint leadership, since it's giving them the chance to become the leaders themselves as well. So it motivates them somehow, and I think this could also be used to address the first issue, which is no motivated collaborators. So there.
Yes, thank you. Yes, I also think that these can overlap. So that's a really good point. And I like that approach, because we shouldn't be like in IFSA, we should be equals. So even even if there needs to be one person who like holds all the strings of the project and knows what's going on and like has some kind of vision or whatever, all the opinions and like everyone who works for the project is still like equal and should be appreciated and listened to on the same level. Then I think we can move on to the last problem of low quality output. I hope you understood what I meant by this, but we'll see. I'm sure we have some nice points here anyway. So provide constructive criticism so they can improve themselves better next time. Yes, I think it's fairly clear, but whoever wrote it, do you want to maybe elaborate anyway?
Yeah, hi again. I wrote that point. So what I meant is that since we are all students, we are bound to make mistakes one time or the other. So like instead of pointing it out, maybe you can like you can say where they made the mistakes and how to correct them so that they can improve themselves next time. So it will also motivate them, and like instead of feeling so guilty that okay, it's because of their mistake that event or something went wrong. The other way around, like if you provide a constructive criticism, it might help them boost their motivation, and it will also help them improve next time. That is what I mean.
Yes, absolutely. Constructive criticism is super important, and like when it should come in a good way, that in a way that you can actually learn from it and you don't have to feel bad for it. Like mistakes are definitely learning opportunities, even though nobody enjoys making mistakes. But yes, like open communication and constructive criticism from the leadership and from the whole team can definitely help with that. Then reevaluate the capabilities of your teammates and change your plans somehow. Paula?
Yeah, it's just basically maybe your plan is too big, so you need to reevaluate it and maybe make it a bit smaller. One thing I learned from my experience in IFSA last time was don't plan too much. Like if you can do it, just do it as soon as possible. Create a concept note. Just don't dwell too much on the planning. So yeah, don't make it too big as well. So yeah, Alina, that's it.
Yeah, definitely a familiar feeling. It's always like when there is a nice idea, the ideas really start flying, and they're like, it's nice to get excited and it's nice to have these ideas, but also at some point you have to like realize what's realistic when we're all volunteers and this is not a main job. So it's important. Good. Then ask for their strengths and weaknesses to ensure that they are suitable for the work, or at least they want to improve their skills if given this task. Sounds interesting. Who wrote this?
Hello,
Hi.
I wrote it. So um again in order to save that time, or since we do not have the expense of time when it comes to planning events like this or executing tasks, what I do is I try to know their strengths and weaknesses, so that when I give them this task, they would accomplish it as soon as possible, and they would be confident with their work, and at the same time their quality of work is good. But I also take into consideration if they want to try doing this work, so that they could go out of their comfort zone. And I think I would not say that there would be low quality work. Rather, there would be improvements on the work, but not literally, not blatantly think of it as low quality. So that I would not what do you call this this I would not demotivate them or disencourage them somehow, so that they would still continue working on it and would still look at it positively and improving their skills if given that task.
Yes, I definitely agree. I think it's super important to actually give people the opportunity to grow. And like these are like in IFSA, few people have done the exact things that they get to do in IFSA. So we can't like have prerequisites that if you want to, for example, lead a delegation, you have had to lead a delegation before. Like everyone has to do it for the first time at some point. So yes, very good point. And then learning from the failures and check the reasons of it. Avoid or reject the issues for the next project. I think that overlaps a lot with what Lau just said, but do you maybe want to elaborate or add anything? Whoever wrote it?
Yeah, actually, I wrote that. So what I felt during my when I was vice president of my local committee, the problem is not always from the teammate. The problem can be from my side as well, or not. Also, it's like the members' problem. It can be the collaborator whom we are collaborating, or like it can be technical issues. There are a lot of issues can be going on. So we have to check that whether we can solve the problem or not, and if we can solve the problem, we can just work on it. Yeah, it's similar to what Lau said already.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Then I think there was one more also. Paula, how much time do we have?
We have 2 minutes, but I think we will extend.
Okay, well, let's then go to at least the one more point that was just found there. A casual conversation about the even better if with the team, so that they don't feel pressured with the word evaluation. Sounds nice. Who wrote it?
Hello again, it's me. So this is also based from a personal experience where in my organization, people are so afraid with the word evaluation. Like it's like people are being judged of what's wrong with what they do and so on. And people are so afraid with the word evaluation. So we do this casual conversation, basically talking straightforward about what's wrong and what could be better. So it's like even better if. So the situation is A, but even better if B. So it's like a casual conversation about basically like the planning, but it's not judging everyone. And rather, it is actually opening a discussion from everyone too. So that is to also fix the low quality output. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Good points. It is true that like there are like these like terms like evaluation can be very scary, and like you're starting to think like, oh, do I get a bad grade from this, even though it's like you're not getting any grades from IFSA. We're just like we are here to learn, yes, but this is not university, this is not school. You're not getting a bad grade. You should just like learn in other ways, and avoiding those kinds of scary terms is maybe a good idea. It can be totally a casual conversation, and everyone can go in and get out of the meeting or a conversation with like in a good mood. Thank you so much for your participation. I think I also have come across like very nice points, and I hope you learned about this. I think we have to figure out who will present very shortly in the plenary the outputs. Paula,
Yes, don't worry, it's only 5 minutes, or you can just say a few words.
Is it one person or can it be shared?
It can be shared, as long as it's under 5. Go, guys.
I can present. If another person wants to present it with me, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, come on. Okay. Maybe everyone else a bit shy, but I'm sure we had a really nice conversation in our breakout room. I have a question though, Alina.
Mm-hmm.
Based on my experience, especially as the head of CDC before, it's like the same people would do the work. I think a main part of it is because they are the only ones who attend the meetings. So in terms of task delegation, is it ethical for a head to assign tasks even if they're not in the meetings? What is your opinion on it?
I think that goes into the don't force but encourage, as in a way that even like if you're in a meeting and you need to decide like who is going to be doing what you can of course ask the participants like what would you be interested in doing, and then after that you can also be like, well, I think this person who is not in the meeting would fit to do this task, and then you have like after the meeting you will share in the Google chat room like, we came up with this suggestion of the task sharing. Please let us know what you think. And probably like it is of course possible to say no, but it is very encouraging to have people who didn't attend the meeting do tasks anyway.
All right, I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you very much, Alina, for that very nice talk on task sharing and talking about the different situations that we can face. So I'm sure not everyone here are new, or Lau, I think, and Uma are new, but either way, we're here for you. So don't be afraid to ask questions, to bother and annoy everyone in the chats, because we're friends first before we are workmates. So with that, maybe we can come back to the main plenary session, and let's cheer on Lau as he would discuss what we have talked about in this breakout room. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. It was very nice to be here to talk to you.
Okay, we can now leave the room. Thank you very much. Leave the room only, not the meeting.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.